We're working with Adobe Illustrator. We're on the beginning of Chapter 1. This is the first video of Chapter 1. And with this video, we're going to just learn about our workspace. Adobe Illustrator is very similar to Adobe Photoshop, but you've got some big differences. It's similar in the way that the program is laid out. You have some similar tools, but you also have some big differences with your tools and the way that Adobe Illustrator functions and what it's actually used for. Illustrator is more of a drawing program. It's a vector program, vector-based program. So let's go ahead and start with, I want to point out, hopefully you have your book open and look at page 1/4, and you can see that this has a nice graphic of what your Adobe Illustrator artboard and what your layout should look like. And anytime you need to know, if you're doing your book and you need to know what something is, go back to page 1/4 or page 1/6 or 7, and it has a graphic that has an illustration of what your tools are and what your main panels are. So let's skip forward, and we're going to go to the brown section. Remember, your book is laid out so that it has your actual work section is in the sides on the brown. Extra reading is in the white. Your vocabulary will be in the white. So we're starting with number 1 on 1/11, and we already have Adobe Illustrator launched. We already have the file open, and we're going to just start to play with where things are located. So number 4 says click the double arrows on the tool panel, then click it again to switch between the two setups for the tool panels. So here's your tool panel. You've got the double arrows here. You can look at it long ways, and that's the traditional Adobe way that they used to have the tool panel set up. Gives you more workspace that way. Or you can click it so that you can see all of your tools at once, but it takes up a little bit more workspace, but it's fine for what we're doing. Number 4 says double click on, oh, we did number 4. Number 5 says point to the type tool and then press and hold the mouse button to see the type on a path. What it's showing you, see that little arrow right there and there and there? The tiny little arrows show that you have hidden tools. So if you click on your type tool and press and hold with your mouse button, you can see that you've got type on a path, area type tool, lots of different type tools that you're going to be using. And we are going to click again to get that menu to go away. Number 6 says view the hidden tools behind the other tools with the small black triangles, and we already did that. So you can click and hold with your mouse button and see other tools you have hidden away to save space. Okay. Number 7, click Edit on the menu bar, point to Preferences, click General, and verify the Show Tooltip is checked. So we'll go to Edit, click with your mouse button, go down to Preferences, and go up to General, click on General, and then we want to make sure that Show Tooltips is selected. Show Tooltips is right here, and it is selected. And then once we see that, we'll hit OK. Position your mouse pointer over the selection tool until it appears. So a couple of things, guys. You need to know that this is your selection tool and this is your direct selection tool. So know this by the back of your hand. Know the differences between these two tools, and your life is going to be so much easier this whole semester. Trust me. So your selection tool, you want to see that your shortcut for your selection tool is a V, and your direct selection tool is an A. What your book is telling you, it says press the following keys and note which tools are selected. So if you hit A, that's your direct selection tool. Let's hit P, that's your pen tool. You're going to be using that a lot. V, let's try T, type tool. I is your eyedropper, H is your hand tool. We use that a lot. Z is your zoom tool. Okay, next page, number 10. Press tab to temporarily hide all the open panels and then press tab again. So artists will use this a lot if they want to see their work of art without any interruptions, visual interruptions. So if we hit tab, you can see your work of art in presentation mode. And then let's go back again, and now we see all of our tools again. Click swatches in the stack of collapsed panels to the right of the pasteboard to open the swatches panel. Now you can see right here that my swatches are not open. So I'm going to go to the top, and then from Photoshop, that all of your panels are listed under window, all of your windows. So we're going to go to your swatches. We know it's in alphabetical order, so we can go down until we see our swatches. Here's our swatches. I'm going to click that to open it. Now you see your swatches panel. I'm going to move it over just a little. Okay. It says click the collapse panel button at the top panel to minimize the panel. Then click the swatches to open the panel again. So we can minimize it to collapse it. And then now we see it again. Here's our swatches, and you can click that to open it, just like Photoshop. This is review. Okay, drag the swatches panel name tab to the left so it's ungrouped from the stack. So here's your name tab, and we're going to take that and drag it to the left so it's ungrouped from that whole stack. And let go. Okay. Click color in the stack of collapsed panels to the right of the pasteboard to open the color panel. And our color panel is not open, so we're going to come over here to window again. And it looks like I accidentally moved the panel, so I'm going to move that back over. And I'm going to go back over to window, and then now I'm going to open up my color panel. Here it is. There's color. Drag the color panel name tab to the left so it's ungrouped from the stack. So I'm going to click this color panel and drag it over to the left and then let go. Release your mouse button. Click window on the menu bar and then click transform. Window and then transform. See these little blue arrows? That's showing us that these are the panels that are open. So we're going to go to transform. Oh, it's down here. It's where it opened. Mine opened over here. Okay. Drag the transform panel name tab to the bottom left edge of the swatches and color panel group. And then when the blue horizontal line appears, release the mouse button. So we're going to click this and drag it down. What I think that your book wants you to do before we do that is it wants us to take our color name tab and we're going to click it and we're going to drag it inside the swatches panel to dock the color. So now we can go here for color, or for here for swatches, or here for color. Now we're going to take that transform and we're going to drag it over, and you can see that little blue line that appears. That means that we're going to permanently dock this panel to the other panel. So now if we take the top edge, we can move all of these together at once. Okay, I've moved all the way down to number 10. It says click the transform panel name tab, then drag it away from the other two panels so we can unlock it from those panels. So I'm unlocking it and moving it over and letting go. Click window on the menu bar, and we're going to go back to workspace. And that's at the very top. Our workspace switcher is at the very top, just like it was with Photoshop. Workspace, and then to get everything to look back to the default look, we're going to hit Reset Essentials. Okay, I'm going to double click on that hand tool so I can see this at full view. And so we just finished on page 113. I'm turning the page. Got a lot of reading on page 115. You don't have to read it all, but you do have to look for specific vocab terms. Same thing with page 116 and 117. 118 and 119, a little bit of vocab there that you're going to need. Screen mode, preview, outline, all of those are important. So go all the way over to page 1/21. 1/21, press Z to access the zoom tool. Position the zoom tool over the document window and click twice to enlarge the document. Press Alt or Alt if you have Windows, or Options if you have a Mac, but we have Windows. Press Alt and then click twice to reduce. So just like Photoshop, if you hit Alt, you have the minimize button and it reduces. Okay. Click the zoom tool level list arrow in the lower left corner of the document and click 800. So right here, this is our magnification of what we're seeing this document as. We're seeing this document at 100%, and we're going to click this list and we're going to go all the way to 800%. And so now we're just seeing white, but the document is actually there. I've gone way up here. I'm going to go back to 800%. Okay, so our document's there, it's just that we're zoomed way up in it. Okay. Type 300, so you can highlight the 800 and now type 300 and press enter. Now we're looking at 300%. Click the hand tool on the tool panel and click and drag the document window to scroll around. And you guys saw that I just did that earlier. So if you click on your hand tool, you can press and hold with your mouse button and move around to see your document better. And what's the shortcut key for that hand tool? It's an H. Click the selection tool. You can hover if you need to know if this is your direct selection or your selection. Your book says selection, so make sure you click your selection tool. It says click the selection tool and point to the center of the document window. Then press and hold Control Spacebar. Control Spacebar, and you have, once again, you've got your magnifying glass. Click 3 times and then release. So we're going to go back here, hit Control Spacebar, and click 3 times. 1, 2, 3. More shortcut keys. That was more shortcut keys. Okay, now we're going to press and hold the spacebar to access our hand tool and scroll around. Okay. I'm going to go back here to my selection tool. And then we're going to hold our spacebar and you can click and move around. Okay, we're moving on. It says press and hold Control Alt Spacebar. Then click the mouse button multiple times to reduce our view to 25%. So Control Alt Spacebar, and then we're going to click multiple times until we see our document right here shows 25%. So Control Alt Spacebar, and then keep clicking until we get to 25%. Your document should resemble figure 22. So if you look on your book on page 121, that's what your document should look like. I'm going to end this first video right here, and we'll begin again on your lesson 1, part 2.